Welcome to the Venus frequency, a Venus butterfly transmission. I'm so glad you're here. In this frequency, we choose clarity over confusion, presence over performance, and alignment over effort. We listen, we soften, we shift the frequency.
Frequency, feel it in me. Soft as a spell, I bloom, I breathe. Butterfly energy, I don't chase, I receive. The Venus frequency.
Metamorphs, vibe with me on this because in this transmission, I have three very important questions for you as we enter into the seventh transmission of what Venus taught us during her transit in Taurus. And listen, my lovelies, we have officially entered into talking about these coins. Honey, you know what I mean? That bank. So, this one might come for your wallet, your cart, your subscriptions, emotional spending, undercharging, and it's even coming for that little voice that says, I deserve it. When what you really need to do is take a step back, go into yourself, and see how you are really feeling and what it is that you truly need. So lean in, my loves, because this frequency is going to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, but tell it gently. So sit back and chillax, because question number one is, have you ever spent money trying to soothe a feeling or reality you did not want to deal with? So instead, you put you some clothes or some food in that cart. Now, if this first question touched a nerve, I want you to breathe, because question two is about the part of you that knows better but still get talked out of your knowing. Because, baby, what I know for sure is you be knowing. So, question number two, have you been treating your money like it does not deserve the same reverence, protection, and discernment as your heart? Now stay with me now, because question number three is the one that is going to shift the standard. Because this one right here will help you see where your past is causing you to run some holes in your pockets in the present. So finally, question number three is, are you ready to stop letting your feelings spend money your future self has to pay for? Sit with that one for a second. I'm going to say it again. Question number three is, are you finally ready to stop letting your feelings spend money your future self has to pay for? If you answered yes, party people, then you just might be ready for the frequency of the bank needs boundaries. Because metamorphs, your money is not separate from your worth. Your resources deserve that same reverence too. So you already know I need to holler at you for a minute or two because Venus in Taurus was not only about love, pleasure, beauty, and softness. No, ma'am. No, sir. Venus in Taurus came to talk to us about our value. And value includes the body, the bond, the boundary, and baby. Yes, value also includes that bank, the coins, because your money is not outside of your healing, and resources are not outside of your embodiment. Please understand that the way you handle money is connected to how you feel in your body, how you honor your worth, how you protect your peace, because the bank needs boundaries too. And metamorphs, I know talking about money can bring up a lot in us. Sometimes we may feel shame, we may feel fear, avoidance, pressure, comparison, survival, and sometimes, we may even feel a little bit of guilt. And that quiet little panic that shows up when you know you need to check on those numbers, but you would rather clean your whole house, reorganize the pantry, start a new project, jet off to Zimbabwe, go get that mani or that petty, or find a reason to be interested in any and everything else but coins. Trust me, I know. But embodied value, baby, does not mean we shame ourselves into financial discipline because that is not helpful, my loves. What it means is we become honest with ourselves and make a choice to take care of what we have been avoiding. Because some of us have been using money to soothe the ache of feeling unseen. Hmm. Some of us have been spending from the wound that wants to feel chosen. Some of us have been overgiving financially because we are afraid of disappointing people. Huh. Some of us have been undercharging because being properly compensated for the value we provide feels uncomfortable. Some of us have been saying yes to expenses our bodies already said no to. Some of us have been calling impulse intuition because we did not want to admit we were buying comfort. And listen, my lovelies, this is not about shame. This is information. It's what you need to take a sacred pause with some gentle awareness and with love. Because sometimes the bank account is not just showing us some numbers. Sometimes that bank account is showing us our patterns where we overextend, where we avoid, where we self soothe, where we undervalue ourselves, where we feel we can buy the feeling of being taken care of because we have not yet built the structure that actually cares for us. Huh. I know you heard that. And Venus is not here to punish that. Venus not saying, look at you messing up this money again. No, ma'am. No, sir. What she is saying gently is, baby, your resources deserve protection too. Because if your heart needs boundaries, so does your bank. If your body needs rest, so does your budget. If your softness needs reverence, so do your resources. And if your peace is a standard, then your financial peace needs to be included in that standard. Because there is nothing soft about pretending you are fine when your money is screaming at you in the background. There is nothing luxurious about spending from anxiety. There is nothing abundant about abandoning your future self for a temporary feeling. And there is nothing spiritual about refusing to look at what needs your care. Now, let me be clear. I can't get no clearer than this. This is not about restriction for the sake of punishment. This is not about never enjoying yourself. This is not about becoming so tight with money you remove all beauty, pleasure, or softness from your life. Absolutely not, friends. We just did. Pleasure is a practice. We just did. Beauty is not frivolous. So we already know Venus is not anti pleasure. Venus is not anti beauty. She's not anti luxury. But Venus in Taurus is embodied pleasure, rooted beauty, grounded luxury, pleasure with presence, beauty with reverence, resources with respect. Because when pleasure is disconnected from embodiment, it can become escape. When beauty is disconnected from embodiment, it can become performance. And when money is disconnected from embodiment, it can become a place where the wound keeps shopping, giving, hiding, proving, and some of us eating. And baby, we are not letting the wound hold the debit card in this season. Not in the body, not in the bank, not in the boundary, and no, definitely not in the bond. The bank needs boundaries too. Boundaries around what gets access to your resources. Boundaries around emotional spending. Boundaries around rescuing people financially when your body is saying no. Boundaries around all those dang on subscriptions, habits, conveniences, and those little leaks that quietly drain your stability. Boundaries around undercharging, discounting, and minimizing your work. Boundaries around pretending you do not need support. Boundaries around spending money to look like you are well while avoiding the work of actually being well. Because sometimes the most loving thing you can say to yourself is, not right now. Sometimes the most abundant thing you can do is pause before purchasing. Sometimes the most luxurious thing you can do is create a budget that lets your nervous system exhale. Sometimes the most Venusian, baby, honey, thing you can do is pay attention. And that right there is where the shift begins. People, not with shame, not with panic, not with punishment. It begins with attention. Because money needs attention, not obsession. Money needs structure, not fear. Money needs care, not avoidance. And money needs boundaries, not shame. Your bank is not asking you to hate yourself. Your bank is actually asking you to love upon yourself. And that starts with being honest with yourself. And honesty can be sacred. Honesty can be soft. Honesty can be the moment you stop letting the old cocoon of survival make choices for the woman with wings. Because a butterfly does not fly back into the cocoon every time scarcity questions her expansion. No, instead, she flies, baby. Not because she hates the cocoon, but because she has outgrown that thing. And some of us have outgrown the belief that financial care has to feel like punishment or failure. Let those beliefs stay in that cocoon, please. And thank you. Because you are allowed to have boundaries with your money without becoming hard. You are allowed to protect your resources without denying yourself joy. You are allowed to build stability without calling yourself boring. You are allowed to look at your bank account without collapsing into shame. You are allowed to say, this does not align with my current priorities. You are allowed to say, I am not available to spend from my trauma today. You are allowed to say, my future self is included in this financial decision. And that, my friends, is embodied value. Because worth becomes, what did I tell you? It becomes behavior. The body keeps the standard. Pleasure is a practice. Rest is a receipt. Beauty is not frivolous. And the bank, that bank needs some boundaries. Your money deserves the same reverence as your heart. Your resources deserve to be protected. Your stability deserves your participation. And your future deserves a version of you who is willing to choose care over impulse, clarity over avoidance, and reverence over resentment. The bank needs boundaries, not because you are lacking, but because what you are building deserves to be held with reverence. So here are today's B.Fly metamorphosisms. The bank needs boundaries, so let them meet you where they need to meet you. My money deserves reverence. My resources deserve protection. My bank needs boundaries too. I release shame around looking at my numbers. I release the belief that care must feel like punishment. I stop spending from the wound that wants to feel chosen. I pause before I purchase. I breathe before I rescue. I check my body before I say yes. I do not abandon future self for a temporary feeling. I allow pleasure without abandoning my stability. I allow beauty without betraying my budget. I allow generosity without overextending myself. I do not confuse impulse with intuition. I do not confuse avoidance with ease. I do not confuse depletion with devotion. My money is not separate from my healing. My bank is not separate from my boundaries. My resources are not separate from my worth. I choose clarity over shame. I choose structure over panic. I choose reverence over resentment. My financial peace matters. My future self matters. What I am building deserves to be held. I trust myself. I choose myself. I honor my resources. And so it is. This metamorphosism was inspired by the frequency of the bank needs boundaries. I hope this frequency found you not in shame, but in honesty, not in punishment, but in protection, not in panic, but in the sacred reminder that your resources deserve reverence too. Because money is not just something you spend, money is something you steward. So in today's tarot highlight, we are entering into the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles is not a card to explain. We are entering it as an archetype to embody because the Four of Pentacles, it asks us to pay attention to how our body responds to holding, saving, and spending. Where are we gripping from fear? Where are we leaking from avoidance? Where are we protecting what needs protection? And where are we confusing control with safety? Because the goal is not to hoard, and the goal is not to harden. The goal is actually to build a life where money becomes another place where the nervous system panics. Let me say that again. The goal is not to become or not to build a life where money becomes another place where the nervous system panics. The goal actually is stewardship. So the Four of Pentacles reminds us that resources need structure, stability needs attention, and what we value must be protected with care. So today, the Four of Pentacles asks, where does your money need more reverence? Where have you been spending, giving, or avoiding from an old wound? And what financial boundary will help your nervous system feel safer this week? Breathe that in. and let it settle where it needs to settle. If you want to go deeper into this work, my friends, I invite you to listen to Arcana 22 Initiations. It's available on most streaming platforms. And if you are feeling this frequency, please follow me, Venus B.Fly, or the Venus Butterfly Collective on your favorite social platforms for more transmissions, rituals, and metamorphosisms. And people, while you are there, please, 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 please share, like, follow, and subscribe to stay tuned into the frequency. Because the next time we will be entering the eighth transmission of what Venus taught us while transiting about in Taurus, and that is stability is sacred because safety, consistency, provision, and peace are not boring. They're actually quite beautiful. So, all right, metamorphs, thank you for listening. Please know that I see you, I feel you, and I sure do appreciate you. The temple is now closed. Let what resonated stay with you because you already know you don't need to hold on to the rest. Stay present, stay aligned, stay grounded, and I'll meet you right back here in the frequency.
The Venus frequency, feel it in me. So there's a spell. I bloom, I breathe. Ooh, butterfly energy. I don't chase, I receive. The Venus frequency.